When was the last time you let yourself be bored? I'm talking no phone, no music, just you and your thoughts. It had been quite a while for me. So when I saw this TikTok trend where people were challenging themselves to be bored for 15 minutes a day, I decided to try it. On TikTok, they called it dogging boredom. On here, I think we're just gonna call it being bored. I figured maybe it would help me be on my phone less, or help my anxiety, or maybe it would finally teach me that meditation is something that I can accomplish despite the rat in my brain that's stuck on a never-ending spinning wheel begging for me to consume brain rot content. I decided to try to be bored and do nothing for roughly 10 minutes or as long as I could for a full week. And here's how it went.
Okay, boredom number one complete, and it wasn't that bad. I was able to do 8 minutes just like on my own, and then I started to be like, okay, what time is it? And that's when I was like, okay, I feel like 8 minutes is a good place to start. So, yeah, I was able to do 8 minutes, and during that 8 minutes, I was so tired. I was like, "Oh my God, I hope I don't fall asleep and like leave my camera running or whatever." But like, I mean, I know sometimes you can fall asleep during meditation and stuff, but yeah, I was pretty tired. But that's just the general life of a college student, I guess. But I also had some fun thoughts as well. So I got to look around my room a little bit more, which is not something you always get the chance to do. I feel like sometimes we decorate and then we're like, "All right, I'm decorated. I'm never gonna look at this stuff again." But I got to kind of like peep at my memory board and some of my postcards, and I have like little ghosts hanging over there. And so I kind of liked the moment to like reflect on my surroundings, I guess. And when I was looking at my postcards, I was like, oh my God, remember that one time that I went there and that was super fun? And I feel like that was nice too, because sometimes I feel like you don't get to live in the memories as often as you want to, especially like the good memories. It's always the bad memories that you want to live in. But so it was nice to like set aside some time for me to be like, all right, remember all the good things that happened to you like today and also like in your whole life. I do think if I was feeling maybe like more depressed, that probably wouldn't have gone as well. I probably would have been like, okay, time to think about all my bad memories, like, or stuff like that. But for the most part, I feel like I had a decent time. And right now, like, I'm kind of chilling up there. Who's really to say? But I was able to have an okay time. I was definitely bored, but that is to be expected as this is literally like the boredom challenge. And I was still feeling very much like, okay, I could be doing something else with my life. And that's part of why I stopped at 8 minutes as well. So we'll see if maybe I can get around that feeling, but I don't know, wishful thinking, I guess.
Okay, so today I decided to do my board thing like in the middle of campus pretty much, and it was okay. I was kind of done at about 6 minutes, but then I decided to keep going, and I was able to make it to 9 minutes, and that was fun. I feel like that was enough time for me to like have a war with myself and like present conflicting sides in my imaginary debater head, which was maybe a little too long, to be honest. But some of it was slightly relaxing, I guess. So I don't know if there was improvement there, but I was able to just sit a little bit longer. I also think being outside was really nice because it's such a beautiful day out, and so I was able to just like look at the trees, look at the squirrels, feel the pine needles stabbing me in the butt. But I think I will try to do it outside again because I felt like that was pretty nice. So yeah. Okay, hi, hello. So this is day 3 of me doing this challenge, and I've already done it today. And today I decided to do it outside again, which I thought was nice, but last time I did it, I was in more of like a secluded part of campus. This time I was kind of like a little bit in the hustle and bustle, like there was a lot of things happening around me, so I felt like it was fun for me to kind of be entertained in that way, but also it was a little bit like I felt like I was really being perceived by the fact that I was just kind of staring at people alone on this bench. So I don't know if I liked being that open about me like doing nothing, which sounds kind of stupid. I was thinking about that while I was sitting there. I was like, why do I care that people are staring at me? Also, like, I don't want to seem like I'm staring at them, you know? But this time I was able to hit 10 minutes finally, so I really kind of pushed myself there. At around 6 minutes, once again, I was ready to tap out, but I was like, no, I should stay, I should do nothing. And you know it's bad when you're so busy that I literally had to block this out in my calendar. I was like, oh, okay, I can do nothing for 10 minutes here. So that's kind of what I was doing, and I enjoyed myself. It was really nice out again, which is definitely helpful when I'm doing this outside, when I'm sort of practicing meditating in a way, and I was able to look at all the really pretty trees, which I thought was really nice. And this time also I did have a little coffee and a little snack because I was so hungry, and it's hard to have time in my day where I'm doing absolutely nothing. Like, I felt like this was a good medium where I wasn't even like listening to music or anything, but I was still kind of incorporating it into my day in a way that it was not so hard for me to do it, and having a little snack helped. I wasn't like thinking about the coffee or anything, it was just like an action for me to be doing instead of staring at people on this bench, so I felt like that was really helpful. And overall, since we're about halfway through, I have been liking setting aside this time. I do think that it's important to kind of try, and it's been nice for me to like have this space in my day that's kind of all just to myself. I don't know if this is what I would prefer to spend my time on though. Like, I don't know if I'm convinced in keeping this a daily thing that I do for the rest of my life. I feel like I would rather have 10 minutes of reading set aside, or 10 minutes of writing, or like something creative. But I do think this is kind of training my brain to be a little bit more okay with sitting in silence, which is definitely a big thing for me. I always have music going, I always am listening to something, and it's just really hard for me to act in a way. Like, even in class, I always have to listen to something. It, one, like kind of helps my anxiety, but also it just gives me something for my like second brain, or like my train of thought to think about that isn't directly what I'm working on, and I find that really nice. I really like listening to music. I know there are some people who can't listen to music and read, and that's like not me. Like, I have to listen to music to read. So I like that this is kind of giving me something different to do, something different to experience, but at the same time, I'm bored. Like, I wish I was kind of being more productive than I am. And like, I like the aspect of being bored, but I also feel like it's giving me this space to think of new ideas of things to do and then not actually giving me time to do those new ideas, which is something I kind of struggle with in general. But I have been liking not immediately kind of like grabbing for my phone when I'm waiting places. I feel like this is a good thing to sort of try to incorporate throughout a day instead of necessarily all in one shot like I have been doing. But we'll see how that goes, and I will continue to try to extend my time. I'm going to try to keep it around 10 minutes, I think. I feel like that's like a good marker for me, but I do want to see maybe if I can like go really long for one day or something like that. But it's not going to be today because I had work and then 2 classes and then I'm going to shoot a show. So it's going to have to be another day. But that's just like my halfway through update, and so I'll let you know how the rest of it goes. Okay, so I could really only last like 6 minutes. I just feel so not zen right now that it was just not happening. I watched the sunset, it was pretty, I thought thoughts to myself, but I kind of just want to be doing something. So today was not as good as yesterday, but I will try again. Just today it was just such a weird day, you know? I feel like we all have those days, but I made some time for myself. I think 6 minutes is all I can do right now, though. Or I think I might go a little bit insane. Okay, so it's been a couple days since you've actually seen me be bored, but I have been doing the challenge. I've just been doing it a little bit more naturally in my day-to-day life. I actually went on a walk and I listened to nothing, thought about nothing. I was just walking to class and it was about like 10 to 15 minutes, but I was actively like trying to make myself bored. And I feel like fitting it naturally like that is sort of better for me. And the second time was in the shower, which obviously I'm not going to show you that, but it really was just me sitting there being bored, or like, I mean, I was standing, but it was just me standing there being bored, not thinking about anything, not even thinking about the shower, literally just standing there. And I feel like it felt so much more natural for me to be doing kind of something, but not really, while also making the effort to feel bored or to like be actively not on my phone or not actively trying to distract myself with something. So I really feel like that moving forward, these types of things are what's going to stick from this challenge. But I do have one more day to do a longer session perhaps, so I'm going to see how that goes. But yeah, that was just what has been happening recently, and I kind of like it better than just sitting there staring at the wall, you know? Okay, hello from my bed. God, I'm saying so many questionable things from this video. I just got done meditating or being bored for the past 20 minutes, and I maybe fell asleep a little bit at the end there, but I did wake up and it was relaxing, and I feel good having accomplished doing it for so long. So yeah, that's like the last time I think I'm really gonna do it, but I will have some final thoughts for you after I take a nap. Alright, Slayers, so I am done with my boredom challenge, and I have some concluding remarks for us. So the first one is, I really liked this challenge, and I feel like this is definitely something you guys should try at home. So I really think it's nice that collectively, as a society, we're acknowledging that yes, your brain does need time to be bored, and in general, we're like promoting a form of meditation with this challenge. So I really like it, and I really like promoting it. Now, that being said, I don't think it's something I will continue to do in this format for like the rest of my life, but I did really like the days where I incorporated it with something I was already doing. So I know a lot of this challenge is like on TikTok are like no fidgeting, no eating, nothing, like just complete staring at the wall, watching paint drip kind of thing, but I just don't think that's very sustainable for people to continue to take on into their lives. So I really liked when I was eating, or when I was people watching, or when I was like sleeping pretty much, or I even liked like doing it in the shower or what, and also like while walking. So finding different ways to sort of incorporate it into my day-to-day life, I think is what's going to happen moving forward. And also, I am happy to report that I think that this challenge improved how comfortable I am with being in silence. Now, this was something that I learned while I did a no phone day challenge kind of thing, but it was something that I really needed to get back into, and so forcing myself to like walk in silence I think was a really good thing for me, and just being on campus in silence, it's just not something that I typically do, but it was good for me to train my brain to be like, hey, you can chill. Now, do I think that this challenge worked 100%? Not really, because there were days during it that either I was just like so energized that I couldn't do this challenge, or I feel like it almost made me like crave my phone at one point. I was like, okay, I need to like stock up on my scrolling time because I'm not gonna have it later. I don't know if I liked that feeling very much, but it wasn't there like through the whole challenge. It kind of just crept up on me like once or twice. But for the most part, I think that it was like training me to be like a little bit more zen when I am interacting with people, or when I'm walking, or I'm just like doing menial tasks. Like earlier, I just made food without listening to anything, and the other day I took an elevator without listening to anything, which if you know that I am afraid of elevators, that's a bigger deal for me because one of the ways I cope with it is by listening to music. So that's good improvement, right? And just overall, I think that this was a fun challenge and something that is worth trying. And please let me know if you guys try it down below, or if you try like the TikTok version. And thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye!